Hey everyone, John Henry here, Slingshot Futures Trading Group. Today we're going to be taking a look at a little bit of a trade recap and how I traded today. A little bit of a spoiler, I'm down. Don't worry, I'm only down 25 bucks. Today was a really difficult, choppy, sloppy day and really shows that patience is how you really need to approach these kind of days. Yesterday we did a video on ranges. Today, even though it is negative, I still consider today to be pretty much a winning day in the sense that followed the rules and rocked out with everything that did end up setting out. So let's jump into some charts here. We'll take a look at what's going on, see where I fell flat, see where I did really well, and kind of review what's going on. Before we jump into the video, of course, don't forget underneath, drop a comment of any topic that you want a video done on or anything like that. I always look at the comments. Of course, always make sure to subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. You know the spiel. Let's jump into it. Let's get into some charts. I'm excited. It's been an interesting day, but maybe we can get a video on a trade that sets up too. Never know. We'll see you in the video. All right, so digging into the trades today, we're taking a look at the NQ. The NQ has been, well, moving compared to some of the other markets. The S&P has not been moving. But looking at some of the setups that we had today, a couple of them really worked out nicely, and then some of the other ones were just viciously choppy. The first one that we had was a rising bull leg to the upside, and it kind of ground outside of it. At the time, I didn't have this drawn like the way it is, this more horizontal line. I had it more angular like this. And when they started dipping back down again, that was after we had cycled down to a new low, a new high, a new low, a new high. I was thinking higher low for a reversal breakout attempt above the highs to keep it going. But I bought really, really deep and controlled risk. I think it ended up being like a 15-tick stop. It was a relatively small stop. I was just trying to buy it on the dip, and it didn't work, so it rolled over. When it rolled over, we started getting signs that sellers were coming back in. Really nice bear channeling to the downside. You can see obvious two legs down, beautiful bear channel lower. Everything was grinding its way down. They broke outside of it, and then where were we? Right at the open, right? So not only is it at the time at the bottom 9:35, we're at the open in terms of time, but we're also at the gap fill, yesterday's close. So the market's just getting chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped. It tried selling through, and failed. So when it popped back up, I didn't want to buy that first pullback because I wasn't sure if they were just going to do the same thing they did before. But when they popped up again, bought a quick little flush and got out for a quick 10-tick scalp. This one was a little bit tricky though because my ATM actually kicked in and knocked me out at 10 ticks. That trade happened in a matter of seconds. It was just gone. So because that was so quick, one thing that I could have done better, my objective was up here initially. So when I'm looking at this move up, I'm expecting that second leg to keep going. I want to see them keep going. So the fact that I bought in here and my ATM took me out so fast at a target, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to complain about 3 seconds for 50 bucks. I'm okay with that. But what I would prefer to see is a chance where I should have, and this is something that I'm kind of learning from, we can utilize this as an area of re-entry that I wasn't looking at. Typically, I'm not a big fan of re-entering into trades, but when we have a situation like this where my ATM took me out before my actual target was even fulfilled, it makes a lot of sense to try to buy again and get a better price, and that would have offered up another nice secondary move. But when that failed and it broke down, this is the one that really kind of bit me a little bit. I was looking for a move down into that breakout, right? Nice little bear flag. We break out, pull back, and then continue lower. This is what I was looking for. I wanted to see them break out and then just get hammered to the downside. Now, the one thing, because like I just talked about, I didn't have that channel drawn before, the one thing that kind of screwed me over on that one was drawing the channel on the highs and then transposing it down on the bottom, and that was right where the low was. I just didn't see it. Welcome to being human, right? So I missed that, and it bounced off of it. I sold into it thinking that we were going to get another leg to the downside, and they just railed me all the way back up to the highs. I thought I might be able to get them to roll back over, but they just weren't. It was time to exit before things got way worse, and boy, would they have gotten worse if you hung out. Looking for a little more continuation, obviously this move surprised traders. People weren't expecting this rotation up, probably because they didn't find the channel just like I did. And the ones that did, they were paid handsomely. So when we start reversing back up, I'm looking for an opportunity. I want to buy. It's just, it's not dipping. It's just this monstrous rally to the upside that's just not giving me anything. We finally get the dip back, but that was after an objective. We were looking at a measured move objective, was already completed, and we had just cycled off of what we had now found, the lows of the channel. We are coming back to where we thought the highs were. So we were looking for a short back down. And it worked out nicely. It was a quick in, quick out, nothing fancy. But then they failed to go lower. They got a quick new low and then just rocket shipped all the way back out. And at that point, I was kind of already underwater. I really didn't want to take any more risks. I was having a little bit of difficulty actually getting the market to give me a freaking pullback. And when it finally kind of coiled back up, got all of this stuff out of its system, we moved back into what you can consider a more of a normal market, whatever that is these days. Strong rally back to the upside off of, guess where? The gap fill. And we're looking for 2 legs up. So when we had that first leg up, we pulled back, gave us a nice failure attempt from sellers to try to come in, bought the dip for a quick pop. Obviously, in hindsight, I could have held on to that for a lot more, but realistically, that's where my target was, so that's what I went for. Got a nice little pop out of that one. And then not really much. We went into training time in the room, and then nothing really happened. And then just a little bit ago, I was talking in the chat room on how there was a possible failure move setting up, where we had this nice high, they rotated down, set up a mid-peak trap, but then they broke above that one and kind of created a double mid-peak trap where they rotated down. Now, the big thing here is that I need to see them cycle down with aggression, pop up, and then fail. And as soon as they pop back up again, that was a quick short right into that for a very fast flush all the way back down. And that basically made up the rest of the profit on the day. So I was down like 90% of the day in one trade, waiting for that patience finally set up and made it almost all back to where I'm now down 25 bucks. So ending the day still in the red, might still have some opportunities here. I was hoping that maybe something would set up while I was recording, but nothing's really looking that good right now. So that's going to do it. It just goes to show that patience is the big key. There's a lot of places in here where I could have jumped in and would have just been absolutely slaughtered if I wasn't patient. So these ranges, like we talked about in yesterday's video, they can be nasty. You got to be careful. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you found it useful, interesting, a little bit entertaining. As always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, jhb@ssftg.com. Of course, as always, underneath we already talked about it. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and all that fun stuff so we know you like the content. If you have any suggestions for a video, post them down in the comments. We'll take care of them from there. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the day. Hope you had a fantastic day, and we'll see you all in the next one. Thanks.